Imagine yourself at 75, striding confidently through your neighborhood, climbing stairs with ease, or dancing at a grandchild's wedding, your legs strong and steady. Now picture the alternative: wobbly steps, aching muscles, and the fear of losing your independence. Which future will you choose? Aging doesn't have to mean weaker legs, but the foods you eat every day might be stealing your strength without you knowing. At 70, Eleanor faced this reality. Her legs, once reliable, began to falter, making simple walks a struggle. Determined to reclaim her mobility, she discovered 5 foods silently undermining her strength, and how to replace them with nourishing choices. Her story inspires this guide, crafted for seniors over 65 who want to walk strong, live actively, and savor their golden years. These revelations, grounded in science and real experience, show how everyday foods can harm your legs and what to eat instead to rebuild vitality. From hidden sugars to greasy fast food, you'll learn to take control. Join our Elders Wisdom community by subscribing to embark on this journey and stay until the end. The final food might be the one you least expect, but it's wreaking havoc on your strength. Refined carbohydrates, the empty fuel that starves your muscles. Eleanor, at 70, had always found comfort in the familiar. A warm white bread sandwich at lunch, a creamy plate of pasta for dinner, or a fluffy dinner roll to sop up her soup. These foods, staples of her childhood and decades of family meals, were more than sustenance. They were memories of laughter around the table, of love baked into every bite. But her legs told a different story. After meals, she felt a shakiness, a heaviness that slowed her walks through the park. Her steps, once brisk, grew labored, and a faint tremor in her calves appeared, unsettling her balance. Concerned, Eleanor consulted her nutritionist, who delivered a surprising verdict. Refined carbohydrates, white bread, white rice, regular pasta, were empty fuel, starving her muscles while wreaking havoc on her blood sugar. These beloved foods were quietly eroding her strength, threatening the independence she cherished. Refined carbohydrates, stripped of their natural fiber, vitamins, and minerals during processing, are a dietary deception. Unlike whole grains, which release energy slowly, refined carbs like white bread and pasta cause rapid blood sugar spikes, delivering a fleeting burst of energy followed by a crash that leaves muscles deprived of sustained fuel. Research links high refined carb intake to a 25% increased risk of insulin resistance in seniors, a condition that promotes fat storage over muscle maintenance, leading to weaker legs, joint pain, and slower recovery after physical activity. Eleanor's post-pasta fatigue, which she dismissed as fullness or aging, was her body struggling to process empty calories. Each meal was draining her strength, leaving her muscles undernourished and her energy depleted. The damage goes deeper. Refined carbs trigger chronic inflammation, a silent process that breaks down muscle fibers and stiffens joints. Studies show this inflammation can accelerate sarcopenia, age-related muscle loss, by up to 30% in older adults, making everyday tasks like climbing stairs or carrying groceries more challenging. Nutrient depletion is another culprit. Refined carbs lack B vitamins, essential for nerve function and muscle coordination. Eleanor noticed occasional leg tremors, a subtle but alarming sign that her nerves and muscles were under strain. Her daily reliance on white bread, a seemingly innocent staple, was quietly eroding her mobility, stealing the vitality that had carried her through decades of active living. Eleanor's wake-up call came during a quiet moment in her kitchen, slicing a loaf of white bread for her usual sandwich. She paused, recalling her nutritionist's words, "What you eat today shapes how you move tomorrow." Determined to reclaim her strength, she began a transformation, starting with smarter carbohydrate choices. She replaced white bread with sprouted grain loaves, their nutty flavor and dense texture rich in fiber, B vitamins, and minerals that support muscle health. Brown rice and quinoa became her go-to substitutes for white rice and pasta, offering sustained energy without the blood sugar roller coaster. To stabilize her glucose levels further, Eleanor paired these grains with lean proteins, eggs, grilled fish, or black beans, creating balanced meals that fueled her muscles rather than sapping them. Vegetables became her allies. She added fiber-rich spinach, broccoli, and sweet potatoes to every plate, their nutrients slowing carb digestion and reducing inflammation. A favorite lunch evolved into a quinoa bowl with roasted vegetables and a poached egg, vibrant and satisfying. Eleanor also adopted a hydration habit, drinking 8 ounces of water with meals to support nutrient absorption and flush excess glucose. To boost nerve health, she incorporated a daily 5-minute ankle rotation exercise, sitting comfortably while circling her feet to stimulate circulation and coordination. She followed this with a gentle stretch, flexing her calves for 30 seconds, a small ritual that grounded her body and mind. Eleanor's commitment extended beyond food. She read labels meticulously, shocked to find refined carbs lurking in healthy cereals and crackers, often disguised as enriched flour or maltodextrin. She swapped these for whole grain snacks like oatmeal topped with almonds or air pop popcorn, curbing cravings without compromising strength. To reinforce her resolve, Eleanor kept a food journal, noting how meals affected her energy and legs. Entries revealed a clear pattern. Whole grains left her energized, while refined carbs brought tremors and fatigue. This clarity empowered her to make mindful choices, each bite a step toward vitality. Within weeks, the results were undeniable. The tremors in Eleanor's calves faded, replaced by a steadiness she hadn't felt in years. Her walks grew longer, her energy more consistent, and her legs stronger, carrying her confidently through her daily routines. Research supports her transformation. Whole grains reduce inflammation markers by up to 20% in seniors, enhancing muscle function and mobility. Eleanor's post-meal shakiness vanished. Her blood sugar stabilized by fiber and protein. Refined carbohydrates, once a comfort, were history, and her muscles were fueled for life. Your legs deserve better than empty fuel. Refined carbs may taste familiar, but they starve your strength, leaving you vulnerable to weakness and pain. Like Eleanor, choose whole grains, pair them with nutrient-dense foods, and move your body gently to rebuild vitality. Every meal is a chance to nourish your muscles or diminish them. Say no to the fleeting comfort of white bread, and yes to the lasting power of foods that keep you strong, active, and free in your golden years. Processed meats, the deceptive protein that drains your legs. Eleanor, at 70, prided herself on her practical approach to meals. Her lunch routine was a model of simplicity. A turkey sandwich from the local deli, layered with crisp lettuce and a smear of mustard, felt like a wholesome, protein-packed choice. She believed she was fueling her body for active days, tending her garden, or strolling with friends. But her legs told a different story. Nightly cramps jolted her awake, her calves knotting in painful spasms. A persistent heaviness slowed her steps, making even short walks feel like a slog. Concerned, Eleanor visited her nutritionist, who delivered a jarring revelation. Processed meats, deli turkey, sausages, hot dogs, were a hidden threat, loaded with sodium, nitrates, and preservatives. Far from nourishing her, these foods were breaking down her leg strength, bite by deceptive bite. Processed meats masquerade as healthy protein sources, their savory flavor and convenience making them a staple for many seniors. But beneath their appealing surface lies a dangerous trio: high sodium, nitrates, and preservatives. Excessive sodium causes water retention, bloating muscles and constricting blood vessels, which restricts blood flow to the legs. This starves muscles of oxygen and nutrients, leading to fatigue, cramps, and weakness. Research links high sodium intake to a 20% increased risk of muscle weakness in seniors, as it disrupts calcium absorption, weakening bones and joints, raising the risk of fractures. Nitrates, used to extend shelf life and enhance color, are even more insidious. They trigger inflammation and oxidative stress, damaging muscle fibers and nerves, which can impair coordination and increase fall risk, a serious concern for older adults, where falls contribute to 3 million emergency room visits annually in the U.S. Eleanor was stunned to learn her healthy sandwich was a culprit. A single slice of deli turkey could pack 500 milligrams of sodium, nearly a quarter of the daily recommended 2,300 milligrams. Her near-daily consumption, paired with occasional hot dogs at community barbecues, was causing swelling in her ankles, a telltale sign of poor circulation. Worse, nitrates were linked to nerve pain, explaining the occasional tingling sensations in her calves, which she dismissed as just aging. These symptoms weren't inevitable. They were a direct result of her diet, a betrayal by foods she trusted. The realization hit hard. Her beloved turkey sandwich wasn't fueling her strength, but draining it, threatening the independence she'd fought to maintain. Determined to reclaim her vitality, Eleanor took decisive action. She switched to fresh, unprocessed proteins, seeking alternatives that nourished without harm. Grilled chicken breasts, seasoned with rosemary and lemon, became a lunch favorite, offering high-quality protein to rebuild muscle fibers. Baked salmon, rich in omega-3s, supported joint health and reduced inflammation, while lentil patties, spiced with cumin, provided a budget-friendly, plant-based option packed with amino acids. Eleanor experimented with tofu, marinating it in garlic and soy sauce for a protein boost that her legs thanked her for. When cravings for deli meat struck, she chose nitrate-free versions sparingly, ensuring they were a rare treat, not a staple. To counter sodium's lingering effects, Eleanor adopted a hydration habit, drinking 8 ounces of water with each meal to help her kidneys flush excess salt. She also added potassium-rich foods, bananas, spinach, avocados, to her diet, as potassium acts as a natural sodium regulator, easing muscle tension and improving circulation. To support nerve health, Eleanor incorporated a daily 10-minute leg exercise, seated calf raises, lifting her heels slowly for 15 repetitions, stimulating blood flow and coordination. She followed this with a gentle stretch, holding each calf for 20 seconds, a ritual that soothed her muscles and grounded her resolve. Eleanor's transformation required vigilance beyond the plate. She scrutinized food labels, shocked to find sodium and nitrates lurking in low-fat deli meats and prepackaged sausages. A single hot dog could contain 600 milligrams of sodium and a dose of nitrates equivalent to a week's worth of processed meat. To stay accountable, she kept a food diary, noting how meals affected her legs. Entries revealed a clear pattern. Fresh proteins left her energized, while processed meats brought cramps and swelling. This insight empowered her to make mindful choices, each meal a step toward strength. Within a month, the results were striking. Eleanor's nightly cramps lessened, replaced by restful sleep. The swelling in her ankles subsided, her legs felt lighter, and her energy surged, carrying her through longer walks with ease. Research supports her success. Reducing sodium intake by 1,000 milligrams daily can lower inflammation markers by 15% in seniors, enhancing muscle function and mobility. The tingling in her calves faded, her coordination sharpened, and her confidence soared. Processed meats were off her plate, and her legs were back in stride, ready to carry her into a vibrant future. Your legs are not destined to weaken with age, but processed meats can hasten that decline, deceiving you with their protein promise. Like Eleanor, choose fresh, unprocessed proteins, hydrate diligently, and move your body to rebuild strength. Every bite is a choice. Nourish your muscles with foods that fuel, not drain. Say no to the deceptive allure of deli meats, and yes to the vitality that keeps you active, independent, and strong in your golden years. High-sodium foods, the silent drain on muscle vitality. Eleanor, at 70, took pride in her home-cooked meals, a ritual that connected her to decades of family dinners and quiet evenings in her cozy kitchen. Her pantry was stocked with what she thought were sensible choices: canned soups for quick lunches, frozen dinners for busy days, and salty snacks like pretzels for a satisfying crunch. These foods, convenient and tasty, seemed harmless, a practical way to enjoy her golden years without fuss. But her body told a different story. Night after night, leg cramps jolted her from sleep, her calves seizing in painful knots. Her ankles swelled, making her shoes feel tight, and a sluggishness lingered into her mornings. Alarmed, Eleanor consulted her doctor, who pointed to a hidden enemy: high-sodium foods. These pantry staples were draining her muscle vitality, silently threatening the mobility she cherished. Excess sodium is a stealthy saboteur, wreaking havoc on the body in ways that are easy to overlook. It causes water retention, bloating muscles, and tightening blood vessels, which restricts blood flow to the legs. This starves muscles of oxygen and essential nutrients, leading to weakness, fatigue, and debilitating cramps. Research shows high sodium intake increases the risk of muscle cramping by 15% in seniors, as it disrupts the delicate electrolyte balance needed for muscle function. Sodium's damage extends further, interfering with calcium absorption, a critical process for maintaining strong bones and flexible joints. This raises the risk of fractures and mobility issues, with studies indicating that excessive sodium can weaken bone density by up to 10% in older adults. Eleanor's nightly cramps and swollen ankles were her body's desperate plea for change, a warning that her diet was undermining the strength she needed to stay active. The danger of high-sodium foods lies in their deceptive presence. A single can of tomato soup, a lunchtime favorite of Eleanor's, could pack 800 milligrams of sodium, over a third of the daily recommended limit of 2,300 milligrams. Even healthy frozen meals, marketed as low-fat or heart-friendly, often harbored 600 to 1,000 milligrams per serving, pushing her intake far beyond safe levels. Everyday items like bread, cereal, and condiments added to the tally, with a single slice of white bread containing up to 200 milligrams. This silent drain was bloating her muscles, slowing her steps, and stressing her kidneys, a risk factor for long-term mobility issues and cardiovascular strain. Eleanor was shocked to realize her diet, which she'd considered balanced, was a sodium minefield, quietly eroding her vitality. Determined to reclaim her strength, Eleanor tackled the problem with resolve. She began reading food labels religiously, her eyes widening at the sodium levels in foods she trusted. A frozen lasagna she'd enjoyed weekly contained 900 milligrams per serving, nearly half her daily limit in one meal. She swapped canned soups for homemade versions, simmering fresh vegetables like carrots and celery with herbs like thyme for flavor, free of hidden salt. Frozen dinners gave way to grilled fish, cod, or tilapia, paired with quinoa and steamed greens, seasoned with lemon zest or a pinch of spice. For snacks, she ditched pretzels for potassium-rich bananas or unsalted almonds, which help flush excess sodium from the body by balancing electrolytes. Potassium, found in foods like spinach and avocados, became her ally, easing muscle tension and supporting circulation. Eleanor also embraced hydration as a weapon against sodium's grip. She committed to drinking 10 glasses of water daily, a ritual she tracked with a small notebook, sipping throughout the day to aid her kidneys in clearing excess salt. To boost muscle health, she added a daily 10-minute exercise, seated leg extensions, lifting her legs slowly for 12 repetitions, stimulating blood flow and strengthening her calves. She followed with a gentle calf stretch, holding for 20 seconds per leg, a practice that soothed her muscles and reinforced her commitment. To stay on track, Eleanor kept a food diary, jotting down her meals and their sodium content. The exercise revealed patterns. High sodium days correlated with cramps and swelling, while low sodium days left her energized. This insight empowered her to make mindful choices, each meal a deliberate step toward vitality. She experimented with flavor, using garlic, rosemary, and citrus to enhance dishes, discovering that fresh ingredients were more satisfying than salty shortcuts. Within a month, the transformation was remarkable. Eleanor's nightly cramps vanished, her sleep uninterrupted by pain. Her ankles slimmed, her shoes fitting comfortably again, and her legs felt lighter, carrying her through morning walks with newfound ease. Research supports her success. Reducing sodium by 1,000 milligrams daily can lower inflammation markers by 12% in seniors, enhancing muscle function and mobility. Her sluggish mornings gave way to energy that lasted, her steps confident and strong. High-sodium foods were banished from her pantry, and her vitality was restored, a testament to the power of mindful eating. Your legs deserve nourishment, not sabotage. High-sodium foods may be convenient, but they drain your strength, stealing the mobility you've earned. Like Eleanor, read labels, choose fresh ingredients, and hydrate to protect your muscles. Every bite is a choice. Fuel your body with foods that keep you active and independent. Fast food, the greasy thief of joint and muscle health. For Eleanor, at 70, Friday evenings were a cherished ritual. She'd gather with friends at a local fast food joint, the air thick with a tantalizing aroma of crispy fries and golden fried chicken sandwiches. Savoring each bite, she relished the laughter and camaraderie, the meal a social glue that bonded her to her community. The indulgence felt like a well-earned treat, a nod to life's simple pleasures. But her body told a different story. After these outings, Eleanor felt sluggish, her knees achy, her steps heavier as she walked home. Concerned, she consulted her doctor, who issued a stark warning. Fast food, laden with trans fats and sodium, was a greasy thief, stealthily attacking her joints and muscles with every bite, undermining the mobility she'd worked so hard to maintain. Fast food's allure hides a sinister impact. Trans fats, prevalent in fried items like fries and chicken, ignite chronic inflammation, breaking down muscle fibers and stiffening joints. Research shows trans fats increase the risk of arthritis flare-ups by 25% in seniors, turning simple movements, bending to tie a shoe, climbing stairs, into painful ordeals. These fats also clog blood vessels, reducing oxygen and nutrient delivery to muscles, causing fatigue and weakness that can linger for hours. The reused cooking oils in fast food kitchens, heated repeatedly, become a toxic sludge packed with free radicals, unstable molecules that accelerate aging, strip calcium from bones, and heighten fracture risk by up to 15% in older adults. Eleanor's post-meal sluggishness wasn't just a full stomach. It was her body buckling under inflammation's weight, a silent assault on her vitality. Sodium, another fast food hallmark, worsened the damage. A single meal, fries, a sandwich, and a soda could exceed 1,000 milligrams of sodium, nearly half the daily recommended 2,300 milligrams. This overload causes water retention, bloating muscles, and restricting blood flow, leading to swelling and cramping. Eleanor noticed her ankles puffing up after these Friday feasts, her shoes pinching uncomfortably, a red flag for poor circulation. Studies link high sodium intake to a 20% increased risk of muscle cramps in seniors, as it disrupts electrolyte balance, leaving muscles tense and fatigued. The cycle of indulgence and discomfort was stealing Eleanor's mobility, threatening her independence, and dimming the joy of her social ritual. The realization hit Eleanor during a quiet moment in her garden, where she'd hoped to walk freely but felt her knees protest. She refused to let fast food dictate her future. Determined to fight back, she rethought her treats, seeking alternatives that satisfied without sabotage. She invested in an air fryer, transforming sweet potato fries with a drizzle of olive oil into a crunchy delight, free of trans fats and rich in anti-inflammatory vitamin A. Grilled chicken, marinated with rosemary and garlic, replaced fried versions, offering protein without the greasy aftermath. Eleanor hosted potlucks, bringing roasted chickpeas seasoned with paprika or avocado toast topped with fresh tomatoes, healthy options that her friends raved about, proving social meals could be nourishing. To boost circulation, Eleanor started a daily 15-minute walk around her garden, breathing deeply as she moved, her legs gradually regaining their rhythm. She paired this with a hydration habit, drinking 10 ounces of water after meals to flush sodium and support muscle function. To counter inflammation, she added omega-3 rich foods, walnuts, flax seeds, and salmon to her diet, which research shows can reduce joint pain by 10% in seniors. Eleanor also kept a food journal, tracking how fast food affected her body versus home-cooked meals. Entries revealed a stark contrast. Fast food left her achy and drained, while fresh foods energized her, her knees less stiff, her steps lighter. Within weeks, the transformation was profound. Eleanor's knee pain eased, her energy stabilized, and her legs carried her farther, her garden walks extending to 20 minutes without discomfort. Research supports her success. Eliminating trans fats can lower inflammation markers by 15% in seniors, enhancing muscle and joint health. Her ankles no longer swelled, her circulation improved, and her confidence soared. Fast food's grip had loosened, and her joints thanked her with every fluid step, a testament to the power of mindful eating. Your joints and muscles deserve better than fast food's greasy theft. Its trans fats and sodium may tempt, but they rob your strength, threatening your independence. Like Eleanor, choose home-cooked, nutrient-rich alternatives, move daily, and hydrate to protect your vitality. Every meal is a choice. Nourish your body with foods that fuel, not harm. Say no to the fleeting pleasure of fries, and yes to the lasting freedom of strong, pain-free legs. Refined sugar, the sweet saboteur of muscle strength. Eleanor, at 70, cherished her morning ritual, a steaming cup of coffee paired with a blueberry muffin from a local bakery. Its sweet, fluffy texture, a small indulgence that felt like a reward for a life well lived. The treat was a comfort, a nod to simpler times. But her body began to protest. Short walks left her legs weary, her energy crashing by noon, replaced by a fog of fatigue. Alarmed, Eleanor visited her doctor, who uncovered a surprising culprit: refined sugar, the silent saboteur in her diet. That beloved muffin, along with sugary cereals and sweetened yogurt she enjoyed, was packed with processed sugar, setting off a destructive chain reaction in her body, weakening the muscles she relied on for mobility. Refined sugar, found in everything from desserts to healthy snacks, causes rapid blood sugar spikes, triggering insulin surges that lead to energy crashes. These crashes drain muscles, leaving them starved of sustained fuel. Over time, excess sugar fuels chronic inflammation, a process linked to muscle breakdown and reduced absorption of magnesium and calcium, nutrients vital for leg strength. Studies show chronic inflammation increases the risk of sarcopenia, age-related muscle loss, by up to 30% in seniors, making daily tasks like climbing stairs or carrying groceries arduous. Eleanor felt this in her stiff joints and sluggish steps, her legs struggling to carry her through her favorite park, a place where she once walked with ease. The danger of refined sugar lies in its stealthy ubiquity. It's not just in obvious culprits like candies or sodas, but hidden in healthy foods, store-bought bread, pasta sauces, even low-fat salad dressings. Eleanor was stunned to discover her favorite granola bar contained more sugar than a candy bar, with 20 grams per serving. This hidden enemy was starving her muscles, slowing circulation, and raising the risk of nerve damage, contributing to her leg weakness and occasional nighttime cramps that disrupted her sleep. Determined to break free, Eleanor swapped refined sugar for natural alternatives. She replaced muffins with Greek yogurt topped with fresh berries and a drizzle of honey, a nutrient-rich breakfast that satisfied her sweet tooth with fiber and protein. Dark chocolate 70% cocoa became her go-to treat, offering antioxidants without the sugar spike. She scrutinized food labels, learning to spot aliases like corn syrup or dextrose, which lurked in seemingly innocent products. To support her muscles, Eleanor started a gentle 10-minute exercise. Seated leg lifts, raising each leg slowly for 10 repetitions daily, boosting engagement and circulation. Within weeks, the changes were profound. Eleanor's energy stabilized. Her midday crashes a thing of the past. Her legs felt steadier, carrying her farther on walks, and nighttime cramps faded, allowing restful sleep. Research supports her transformation. Cutting refined sugar can reduce inflammation markers by 20% in seniors, enhancing muscle function. Refined sugar was no longer her master. Her muscles were reclaiming their strength, one mindful bite at a time. Like Eleanor, you can protect your legs by choosing nutrient-dense foods and moving gently, ensuring your golden years are active and strong. Conclusion: nourish your legs, empower your future. Eleanor's transformation, from faltering steps to confident strides, proves that your diet shapes your strength. By eliminating refined sugar, processed meats, fast food, high-sodium foods, and refined carbohydrates, she reclaimed her mobility and joy. These foods, common in daily diets, fuel inflammation, impair circulation, and rob muscles of vitality. But you hold the power to choose differently. Each meal is a step toward stronger legs or a stumble toward weakness. Eleanor's story shows it's never too late to nourish your body and protect your independence. Which of these foods surprised you most? And what will you swap it for to boost your strength? Join our Elders Wisdom community by subscribing to discover more ways to thrive. And start today. Replace one harmful food with a nourishing choice, like whole grains or fresh protein. Your legs have carried you through life's journey. Fuel them with care, and they'll lead you into a vibrant, active future.